We're good. And chat's up.
For gravy? Oh man.
I haven't heard that in a while. We are gravy.
We are gravy, so super green.
2 in 1. You go. Music by the one and only Sarah Teller. How you guys doing tonight? Thursday, it's our time. We're a little early. All right. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. You?
Doing okay.
Excellent.
Doing A-okay. For March and thunderstorms and weather and all this other fun stuff.
Oh my, yeah. Getting some
We're getting some action today. All right. The old 10. 5, 3, 2. Hey everybody. Welcome. Not your average show, Corey Mike, with you once again.
What's
It is
up?
March. What is it? March 24th,
24. It is 2-4.
We're back with another exciting show for exciting as we can be, right? For you.
Yes.
Plenty of topics to cover tonight. We got because Corey yawns during the intro. So that goes to show you how exciting we're actually going to be. So just stay tuned, right? we talked about it on an earlier show. We got something else to talk about tonight about VW, the IThe Buzz, which is basically the electric microbus is coming to you. We're going to take a look at it tonight. NASA does a lunar lander double take on some of the contractual obligations that they have there. Yeah, Corey's already shaking his head.
Yep.
And kind of dovetail into that one is Blue Origin's Blues. They continue a little bit. And then lastly, one that's kind of interesting, but maybe not, depending on what you guys feel about it. Suzuki's getting into the flying car business, and they got something to say about the way that they want to get into this business. So there's that. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Besides the yawn, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's just been kind of go today. So
I get you. I am on a 5-hour sleeper myself due to my kids, so I'm a little tired. So we're both a little tired. You know what's funny? I just remembered this, right? When we first started the show, we were going to do alternate intros. Like you were supposed to do the intro one week. I was supposed to do the intro one week. You were supposed to do like one show.
That's true.
And it's never happened. So just so you guys know, right?
Yeah.
We do this 50-50. We are joint partners in this 50-50, right? The only thing I got going for me is I put a little bit of money into equipment. That's about it, right? But the other part of it is the content and everything we do is 50-50. But the irony of that is that I still end up doing all the intros.
It's true. I mean, I think it was going to be, it would have been obviously a lot easier to do it over there when we were, doing stuff in the studio over there. So,
yep.
Stop
being so exciting. It's being way too exciting.
Yeah, I know.
Other exciting news, right? Other exciting news is one of our viewers has come across a video card with 4 digits on it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
3080, and he has offered it to me, which means I'm going to play trickle down economics and selling my 2080 Super to Corey. I am totally stoked, absolutely thankful for the 3080 and the opportunity to own one, and a good one at that. EVGA, nice one.
Oh, yeah.
So looking forward to getting that installed. And still to this moment right now, just as an update, no Steam Deck email. I don't know how you sat with me at lunch. We were 16 minutes past the hour when I got my code saying that my $5 deposit was accepted, and I still don't have a launch day system. I don't know.
Yeah, and to clarify, right, 16 minutes past the hour, Mike was on before it opened. And he couldn't get, it was just slammed. The website was just slammed, and he couldn't get anything to confirm until 16 minutes later. That's what he's saying. So couldn't have been any quicker, honestly.
So I wonder at this point how many Steam Decks are actually out in the wild, because, is it 3,000, 10,000, 50,000? I mean, I just wonder what the real number is, because I don't think anybody really has a tally on it. But anyhow, interestingly.
Well, I know the one thing I saw, I think it was last week I was talking to you about it, that I had seen people complaining that they had them fall off the truck, if you know what I mean.
Ah,
Like they had seen the shipping information, that they got the shipping information, and then the item was never delivered. So I know some of them shipped for sure. Actually, if you guys are watching this show and anybody does have, you got a Steam Deck, or somebody's got a Steam Deck, tell us in the comments. Tell us your experience, exactly how you ordered it, how you got your hands on it, how you get it delivered. Just let us know.
yeah.
We're
I'm
interested
trying to
to
find
know.
places. It just says 1 million your Steam Deck arrived, but I don't think anybody has an actual physical tally of how many have been out there in a while. But anyhow, in
Right,
lieu of that,
right.
and in lieu of my car probably not getting here till the end of the year because they shut down the plant in Germany because they can't get minerals due to the war in the Ukraine, which, of course, out of all the things, I could care less about the car. Really, more important about the folks in Ukraine. However,
Yes, yeah.
however, it is what it is. It is what it
It is
is,
what it
right?
is, right? It is what it is.
Coup-
It's pretty interesting. Something else that I had heard, just the same thing with the Ukraine. That a lot of the gases they use to make superconductors, or not superconductors, excuse me,
Mhm.
microprocessor units. Um, they source, I think it's neon,
Mm,
actually, if I'm not mistaken. One of the
right?
neon gas they use in the lasers to make the
Mm.
PCBs, and there's a shortage of gas to make PCBs. So it's just interesting to see where these things come from worldwide that you just don't
Oh, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not aware of until they're suddenly not
No, true.
arriving anymore. So yeah,
The other part of that is I
but
don't
yeah.
know anybody else watched the F1 race this weekend, only to watch Red Bull in the final stages literally collapse both cars. Uh, had issues. Looks like they might have actually run out of gas, and could be an issue. But if you're watching that one,
Yep.
if you're a Ferrari fan, congratulations, because Ferrari had an amazing start to the season. They doubled up 1 and 2. Leclerc drove a great race, and looks like Formula One. Although I will say this, did you watch the race? Did you watch it all? Okay,
I didn't
so
catch it,
the
to be
new
honest.
cars are supposed to, in some way, shape, or form, breed a little bit more closeness in the field, and passing situation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Okay, we got so much to talk now, but all good.
Yeah, it's
All
all good.
right, so
It's all
let's just
good.
start off top of this. I'm gonna hit it off, and we're just gonna go straight into it. So Corey and I have been doing the show for about a year now, on and off, right? And one of the things that we covered a long time ago, because I'm a big VW fan, was the fact that the microbus was going electric and it was coming to the United States of America. This was part of their conceptual plans
Mm.
that they had out a while ago. But now it's in life, in the real. The ID Buzz is coming, and we've seen it go past the conceptual stage, and we see actually what the physical production car is going to look like with a couple of specifications.
Mhm.
And it's actually pretty nice that this one comes actually to, I think it's from Auto Week, was the one where I from basically came to us. Is
Right.
actually a while has gone past since it's announced, but we forgot to do it. But the nice thing is the ID Buzz itself is coming. Some nice exterior pictures of it, couple of quick specs. Basically spec'd out to be nearly identical to the ID4. Got 201 horsepower, 229 foot-pound of torque,
Mhm.
rear-wheel drive, top speed of only 90 miles an hour. Though, couple other things. They haven't really settled on the key batteries components yet. They said that there's going to be optional batteries. But something that's actually kind of strange is we here in this country will not get the shortened wheelbase version. We're only getting the wheelbase version that
Yep.
is going to be
Yep.
accessible for third row seating. However, they say because
Mhm.
of the interior design of the actual, the actual cabin, that it is voluminous on the inside because of the very flat walls. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's if you guys follow the channel long enough, we did talk about this when it was just in concept phase, and it did look pretty
Hmm.
interesting in the concept as well. Looking at the pictures now, of course, as you could expect, it's more refined. It looks like something you'd actually expect to see,
Yeah.
on the lot. And I'm still pretty excited about it, to be honest. I know the wife; she's obviously really excited about it too. She likes the VW stuff, and this is right up her alley. And going along with what it says about exactly what you were saying about when it's going to arrive in North America. Down here, it's saying North America probably about like the long wheelbase version, North America
Hmm.
about 2023, and hitting the road maybe 2024, depending on how it goes. And then just like you said, actually, I saw an ID4 just the other day, so that was pretty exciting. But the Buzz having very similar specs and starting about the
Hmm.
$40,000 range. This is US, $40,000 US. If you're into that kind of sustainability, Volkswagen products, electric kind of bus, and of course the nostalgia effect, then yeah, this is
For
totally
sure.
up your alley, and it is got a lot of good features. Yeah, I think it's cool.
I
I
love
think it's
for
cool.
me now. The thing is, this is a beautiful looking rendition of basically the microbus. However, it should be noted that the microbus was fairly unsafe with the driver position being so far forward and literally nothing in the crumple zone in front of you because the engine sat in the rear, right? So they have made a
Yeah, yeah, that's
markable
true.
design change in this one where they've actually moved occupants back enough to survive and actually do a good job of surviving a frontal impact crash, right?
Hmm.
Which is great.
Right.
Another couple of other noticeable design changes is that they actually went with a lot of features on the exterior and the interior that actually hint at the old past car design, which was mostly not as, I'd say, sound deadening and as in the wild, I'd say, car design. But they did such a great job with kind of bringing these reminiscent elements of these different colored multi panels, these actual little strakes on the back quarter panel that simulated the air vents from the old car, and the way that they put the big VW logo out in the front, which actually are nice throwback touches, right? However, we all know it's never going to
Hmm.
be quite the same thing as the original microbus. So, on aesthetics alone, what would you say? Are you more excited about the aesthetics and the look, or the practicality of having something in an EV kind of minivan, but sporty kind of minivan look?
I think the second part, to be honest. I mean, sure, the aesthetics for me definitely is nice to see because obviously you guys have seen this too. Lots of companies make a new car, but it's kind of going to be based on the old car and kind of have cues from the old car, and then there's inevitably ones that are done well. It's all subjective, right? But done well, and then there's ones that are like, oh man, that's not great, not
Yeah.
well done. This one I think is well done, but nevertheless, I think the second part where you're asking about what I like more is the usability. Like you said, a lot of the safety features have been upgraded, as of course they would have to be. But then the usability. I do drive an electric car now, and I know that kind of once you go electric, of course, you're gonna, if you're a car guy, you're gonna miss. It's definitely some things about your gas car, but your sports car. But
Hmm.
the usability, daily usability, is just unparalleled. Honestly, acceleration is still gonna be there. It's electric motors with instantaneous torque, but all the safety features are there too now, and I think it's gonna be a win. I mean, at 40,000, and that's not super expensive.
No.
If it's got the range like the ID4,
Hmm.
and then of course I have to caveat this as always now, if they can get them in people's hands when they order them without having like a 1 year, 2 year delay due to parts shortages and microprocessor shortages and whatever else might be shortages at the time. Great, awesome. I think some of those companies that are having issues, filling orders, they are seeing people cancel some things. Like you've seen some people cancel some orders for the electric cars or
Hmm.
electric trucks
Right.
because they're taking out features because maybe they can't get the sensors or whatever it might be, and some people just aren't down with that. So we'll see, but I think it's a win.
I think for us, for our family, if
Yeah.
I don't really see us ever getting a minivan, right? But I
Hmm.
could see us getting this. I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
because big VW fan, right? And
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
when I used to go camping when I was a kid, and when I was in my Explorer post, the guy that actually used to drive us around had one of these, an old microbus, right?
Mhm.
So did his brother. And it was Westfala, and it was like, oh, it was always so cool to go camping and go climbing, and we'd always be in the microbus. And at night we used to play tricks on him, so we used to actually pick it up when he would go to bed, and we'd all pick it up and move it literally from one place to the other. So
Yeah.
he'd wake up and he'd
Yeah.
literally be in a completely
Yeah.
different parking spot, right? So that's
Yep.
one of the things we used to do. But that aside, the memories that it brings, actually the practicality, it has enough practicality with that volume of space. Now there is one
Mhm.
big
Yep.
caveat that's kind of annoying. Those back seats never actually fold flat enough because the battery sits in the hump kind of above in the middle of the axle.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you never really get fold flat seating like you would in standard minivans. But they're saying that what really makes up for that is that the actual very vertical sides make a huge difference, and it really buys you back the space that you. But again, obviously VW's going to capitalize on their their ID line.
Right.
The engines they already have, the motors they already have in place, the battery technology. And I'm going to say it because we talked about this before. The company that I think right now that has mass production vehicles that is mimicking Tesla the most and probably has the iconic brands to be able to do something with the electric market, unlike others, currently Volkswagen.
Yeah, even after Dieselgate, they've done a complete 180. I mean, mostly, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I mean, regardless of Dieselgate, in the past, the company's seen, okay, electric is going to be the way, the huge part of the market's going to go. you
And you
know,
can't
what do they
flex the
say?
numbers on
You gotta
emissions.
change or die or whatever it's called, the
Right.
saying. So yeah.
So here's the funniest thing: you can't mess with the emissions on an electric vehicle. So there's no faking that, right? So, but here I'll throw this out there. One last thing on this, and then we'll move on. Funny when you mention iconic, or I mentioned the iconic car. Something that popped in my head is look what Ford had to do with the Mustang Mach-E to bring it some sort of originality to make it a tie-in to an iconic vehicle of theirs, because they didn't want to touch existing product lines and make something electric in that variant, right? But look, VW has no problem just going, we're calling it the Buzz, and it's the old bus. So
Yep.
there you go.
Yep.
All right, folks, let us know. Sorry, are you done?
No, yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
So let us know what you think in the comments below. Great move by VW. Will they have the stones to go toe to toe with Tesla with their different designs and takes on EVs, but obviously using their car culture to capitalize on what people might want to buy? So let us know what you think in the comments below, and the discussion moves on. And with that, Corey's going to take us in a different direction.
Going into space. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Excellent. So yeah, this next one, back to space for you, and this one's from The Verge. It just says NASA announces plans to develop second moon lander alongside SpaceX Starship. So okay, if you guys have been following us with the NASA SpaceX Artemis program, you would know that a while back there was proposals put out for the lander part of the Artemis program, and of course there's the lunar lander and there's the gateway and there's a whole bunch of parts of that. But the basically SpaceX was selected, and then eventually also Blue Origin was not selected. They ended up suing NASA. So it's kind of an ongoing saga, I'd say. And just yesterday, NASA put out a press release, which I have linked down below if you guys want to check it out. And basically what it says is NASA is now going to put out proposals for another lander concept, basically by the end of the month. And then they hope to select, basically by the end of the year, the other company. So they're going to look to have two companies. SpaceX is going to be the existing company that's not meant to go anywhere currently. But they're going to pick another one. And here we go again, kind of in a way, right? So NASA's Administrator Bill Nelson said that he always had a desire to have two companies doing the lander component. That's what he says.
Go ahead.
And basically was saying that he's hoping that Congress would quote, not quote, that's just me saying this, but show them the money kind of thing. So anyway, this second run around here is going to be called the Sustaining Lunar Development Contract. And I'll pass it over here in a second, but basically one thing is I wanted to kind of point out was this does have slight changes to SpaceX's contract as well. Whereas previously it was going to be SpaceX was going to be, and we're not talking about getting to the moon, we're talking about the lander from lunar orbit down to the lunar surface. So NASA had selected SpaceX to do that with their Starship as the lunar lander. It's going to be Starship. And that was going to kind of continue after Artemis 3 even. And it was going to be kind of an ongoing thing. And NASA would order one when they needed one. It was going to be ongoing anyway. So now basically after Artemis 3 is going to be done, then any further Artemis landings from lunar surface down, from lunar orbit down to the surface will be basically competing between SpaceX and whoever wins this new bid. So Mike, what do you think?
Okay. So I'm just gonna look. Great intro, by the way, because you set me to say this. This is total bullshit. Because I have to say it that way. Look, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna be vague like that. Do we need two competing pieces of technology after one is already basically in the pipeline and be successful and proven to have won a competition? No. Is the head of NASA coming out and saying we have the competition that I always wanted all along, and we finally have it now after Blue Origin sued because they didn't think they were considered as to being part of this actual initial budget proposal, after Jeff Bezos even said, I'm going to drop $2 billion off my bid just to make ourselves competitive?
Yes, you did.
Bullshit. That's not the way you do a competition. You would have just selected Blue Origin and SpaceX right at the parallel at the beginning. That's what you lastly, the way that this got funded, they only got $54 million when their budget was like $2.5 billion, and Artemis is so expensive right now. Do we need two full-blown solutions to land on the moon again? Because I don't remember two completely different lunar landers going down to the surface moon in the 1970s, and I don't envision that happening now either. So in the absolute vein of everything I know about aviation exploration, scientific studies, so on and so forth, whatever happened to keep it simple, stupid?
I think, well, this is just now we're just
Yeah, of
talking,
course,
right?
sure.
You and I. But I mean, at least what they're saying is he's at least, and even Bill's saying, it's to, what does he say? Well, this is a quote: competition leads to better, more reliable outcomes. It benefits everybody. It benefits NASA. It benefits the American people. I promise competition, so here it is. Well, okay. He said a lot of things in there, but again, he promised competition.
Competition.
He's not talking about keeping it simple or anything. And I mean, I'm not advocating that that's the right way or not, but I think maybe one at least when we're talking about one big thing off the top of my head is, when we went to the moon in the 60s, it was NASA.
Sure.
Like NASA was in charge of everything, right? And it was all in house and whatever. Now they're kind of saying, okay, we're going to be in charge of going to, further into deep space, although SpaceX is doing that too. And with SLS, and we know in the comments, right? SLS is its own thing. Right, SLS is on the pad now, actually, in Cape Canaveral, doing some tests, wet dress tests. Super excited.
Sure.
but yes, SLS is its own project, been going on for years and years. Wait, that's another conversation. But
forget about the waste of money and sour grapes feeling that I get from this, from understanding that we were both like, look, we touted the fact that when we found out that SpaceX won and the lawsuit came down the pipeline, we both touted the fact that, look, this is a sour grapes move on the behalf of Jeff Bezos, right? And I get that, right? But the difference is now it seems like NASA's fallen in, lockstep with this idea that we should have had this competition. But competition, for me, that happens at the selection process, not at the post we've selected a guy process, and now we're actually going to send it to the moon process. That's where competition ends, because to me, every other contract that I've ever seen that the U.S. government or the space agency has ever done, that's the way it was done. And then if you had a different person build a lander, or you had a different company build this as an integrated component, that was part of the process, right? But you'd never had, as far as I knew, because I never saw two totally different space shuttles flying concurrently, pulling the same missions. And look, if I'm wrong in the comments below, lambaste me, let me have it. But no, I'm not buying it.
I mean, I'm trying to think a bit ahead, right? Okay, so we're saying Starship is going to take off from Earth and take the astronauts to lunar orbit, and then either land on the lunar surface or dock with Gateway when Gateway becomes a thing. And then astronauts get into, let's call it Blue Origin's Blue Origin wins, gets in Blue Origin's lander and goes to the surface. Okay. Well, just Blue Origin's lunar landers, how do they get to the Gateway? Are they gonna ride New Glenn over? Because what we're gonna do? We're gonna have SpaceX Starship or Super Heavies throw a. I mean, I'm just saying that kind of tongue in cheek. No, of course not. But I guess we're assuming New Glenn is going to bring out if Blue Origin wins, right? Of course, New Glenn is going to bring the lunar landers from Blue Origin to lunar orbit, but then dock with cargo. But they're going to be uncrewed.
So wait, it gets better.
They're just gonna go over there.
It gets better.
And then land on the moon?
It gets better in my mind, because look, if they're all going to use Artemis as part of this project, right, as at least at one level, and then the specifications are going to change, or are they basically going to say, look, this is the package that you have to fit. Here's the features that you have to have on board.
Yeah,
these are the places where your integrated.
I think it's going to be like that, especially since it's got to go into Gateway.
Yeah, of course.
Gateway.
Yeah, these are where your integrated plugins are going to have to be. So basically, what you might as well just have done. Have one company design the damn thing and two different subcontractors build it. That's it, right? Then everybody gets a little bit of handshake there, and everybody gets their little, nobody gets their feelings hurt, and everybody goes home with a trophy, and we all get to say we went to the moon.
Everybody gets paid.
Yeah, everybody, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we're talking about,
Okay, I know I'm being a total jerk on that, but that's the way it makes me feel, that this is just a step in the wrong direction, and it sounds like bureaucracy has replaced real space exploration as being the issue. Not like bureaucracy hasn't had its place in space exploration before, and it hasn't actually caused people their lives, because we know that that's happened before too. But this is a different type of wrong type of bureaucracy getting in the way. My 2 cents.
I mean, I can see where stepping back, I can see where somebody who wants to keep a schedule going to another planet or celestial body would want to say, hey, we want to back up, in some scenario when
Sure.
we're not in charge, third parties doing whatever. Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a bit strange to now be opening up what it seems to be just, I know it's got a new name, but the same thing again. Just like, oh yeah, we are going to select a second one. We'll let you know how that's going to work out. And I'm certainly interested to see what in that bid. I'm going to read it when it comes out. It's supposed to come out later this week.
Right.
And maybe we'll try to get it back on the show next week and really kind of parse through it for you guys and see what has changed, if there's anything really changed with the new bid or proposal. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm gonna take out the trash now.
I'm done.
That's garbage.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that one. Go ahead. Send them home.
Yes. So thanks for watching that. Please like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal. We very much like appreciate the assistance and the help. We cover space and aviation and tons of other cool stuff. So please smash that and like button and share. And thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks.
See you soon. Yeah.
Look, and we're gonna almost continue the discussion almost as a full flow through here. But look, we got a little notoriety when we did a video on Jeff Bezos and the lawsuit and the sour grapes that we presented. That video took off for us a little bit. It was a little bit of a boon for our viewership, right? But look, it doesn't mean that the bad news, there is bad news still for Blue Origin, because they just went through kind of a double whammy this week. That means they also turned around and said, and this one comes from Florida Today, that Blue Origin again delays their New Glenn rocket. Okay. Now, that's not the end of the world until you actually take a look at this article, which is actually coming from ARS Technica, which says the manager of Blue Origin's rocket company, which actually Blue Engines, name of who was it? John Vilja, okay, the senior VP of Blue Engines. He left to pursue other items in his career in illustrious space stuff, right? So there's a lot there. And here's my thing, right? We're in this catch-all situation with Blue Origin not really hitting their milestones, them complaining a lot about what they couldn't get. And the company's actually lost personnel that immediately went over to SpaceX. That happened, what was it, about 7-8 months ago? Right? We talked about that. It looks like other people are still leaving the company, and they still, outside of their space tourism program, which Pete Davidson is not going to be a part of any longer, where's the success and where's the competition? Because I see SpaceX actually going, here comes Starship, and I see Blue Origin going, hey, we're not going to launch until it's time. And their quote is, we will fly when we are ready.
Yep.
Take it from there. I mean...
Yeah, it kind of goes along with at least what I've mentioned other times we talked about Blue Origin. And again, as we talk about Blue here in these articles, again, don't think that we hate on Blue Origin just to hate on Blue Origin. We're just happen to see these articles come through, and then look at what else is around with Blue, and we see, oh yeah, the manager left. Okay, wow, there's kind of a picture forming there sometimes. As we've said before, Blue Origin's out at the Cape as well. I'm super ecstatic to see whenever New Glenn would fly, because it's another giant system, and it would be pretty cool and awesome. And again, flying for America, awesome, perfect. But nevertheless, like you said, I mean, they're people, and people move around companies all the time. But this is again, a big high profile guy leaving, and that's not great.
No.
But the other coin of that I'll say is, it's just such a dichotomy, really, to see one company, SpaceX in this case, they do all their testing out on their sleeve. Like they just, everything's televised, out in Boca Chica, and you see things, and when stuff blows up, they're like, yep, we blew it up, but we needed to find this data, we got that data, we blew up, whatever. I haven't seen any components fly of New Glenn. We know they're doing pressure testing on some other vessels and things. The engines are being built. Okay, cool. But there's just nothing we don't know anything. So we can only sit here and speculate. And when they say, when a company says we're not going to fly, let's say an aviation company says we're not going to fly until we know it's safe.
Right.
On the face of it, that seems great. There shouldn't be any problem with that.
Right.
But the SpaceX is kind of like, yeah, we're gonna fly as long as there's something to be gained from it. Throw all the rest of it out the window if it blows up,
Close
cool,
up and
you know.
P.T.
And
Barnum of
it's working
space.
for them.
Yeah.
So
Well, here, look.
it's just different.
Look, Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Blue Origin is destroying the space tourism market, right? They're killing it. They're doing things that nobody else could do. But this is also
Yes.
post the fact that Falcon and Dragon are actually killing the real space industry and putting people actually into space, right?
Yeah,
So,
in orbit, yeah.
and orbit,
Going to the
right?
ISS and
So
yeah.
it to me, they're one's making a commercial development, one's making a very successful astronaut system, which we've talked about.
Right.
And look, I'm not
Right.
knocking the fact that Linda Cove is the person that's going to replace him, because that was the guy that basically turned around and he hired her anyhow. So it's not like they're actually taking some steps backwards. But the
Right.
difference to me
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
are your customers still going to be around to wait for that type of delay when they have choices that SpaceX basically has a website. You go up like you're going to purchase a car and you're like, would you like Falcon Heavy, or Starship? And how big is your payload? How far into space would you like to go? Would you like to go interplanetary? Here's your selection. Build your trip now. And right,
and then put it in your cart and check out.
Put it in your cart and check out. And then the only thing you can do on Blue Origin is basically go up to 100,000 feet, maybe a little higher, below the Kármán line, and take a ride. They need some look, and we want this for them. Corey's 100% right. We want this for them. We want them to be successful.
Very much, yeah.
And we want them to enjoy the same level of, I would say, attention that SpaceX is getting. But Elon Musk is also a one-man walking show. Okay, this guy, Asperger's disease or not, is a one person wrecking crew in self-promotion, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, I don't know. Can I say any more there? Because that makes it really hard for Blue Origin to compete. There's a lot there, and yes, we're talking about two of the wealthiest men on the face of the planet. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What else you got on it? Anything?
I don't know. I don't know if I have anything on that. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just can't, just would, if somebody at Blue Origin is watching this, hey, let us know what's going on there as far as with New Glenn and these things. And I know if it's an active bid process, you can't talk about it. I get that too. So, we'll take what we can get, but we're interested to just learn what's going on in space. And hey, if you got some info on what Blue's doing behind the scenes, whoosh, you let us know.
Yeah, but even if it's an active bid process, New Glenn can still fly, and they can still put a camera on it to show some sort of level of success.
Of course,
right?
I would agree with that.
That is something
that's
not that you can still do, because Musk has proven that he will do this no matter what. He still has his challenges to make sure that his orbital flights can take place in Boca Chica, because he doesn't have the equipment built down on the Cape yet to go orbital, and that timeline is coming up due for them too. So they're not without their challenges either, right? I don't know. So on this one, let us know what you think in the comments below. Yes, I am really hammering the space programs today, and I did on SLS. I've seen SLS now on the edge of the river. It's phenomenal. It's great to see a big rocket back out there.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Again, let's just lay this out there. We want everybody that's going to have an attempt at going to space to be safe. We want the products that are up there to be excellent. We want them to be top notch. We want Blue Origin to be successful. We want SpaceX to be successful. We want all to find customers. But logistics of the marketplace and what we're seeing play out right now, it's a difficult road for Blue Origin right now. Doesn't mean that they can't make it, just means that it's difficult now. Let us know what
yeah, it's pretty busy in the medium to heavy lift sector.
It is. And the competition.
I mean, it's busy in all of them.
And SpaceX is they're doing their homework, man, and they're doing it.
They're just so reliable. You talk about launching things to orbit and then it just works. Then if you take 3 years building a satellite and then you want to pick somebody to put it in orbit, then you're like, it might blow up. Yeah, but when you've got rockets that have landed, I mean, they've landed 105 of them or whatever it is now.
Look,
reliability is great when you got millions of dollars on the line. I mean, of course.
The hardest thing that SpaceX has had to endure in the last couple of weeks is they deorbited nine CubeSats, right?
Yes.
And that's a loss, right? Understood.
The solar storm.
Yeah, the solar storm. But here's the thing. They were their own property. They were the property of Starlink. It was like an internal investment lost. And the fact of the matter is, I'm sure they've got plans to re-put those back into space anyhow. And hey, we didn't even talk about forget it. Yeah, it's tough. Right? We didn't talk about the fact that it looks like they're going to have their own phone services and else, and that you should be able to make a phone call from
I
Mars.
found that this week too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So that could be. All right.
Yep. It's a whole nother thing.
Whole nother thing for next week. Like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
Amazing.
All right, this one's up to you, man. Last one. It's all Suzuki, and you got the floor. You ready?
Sweet. Yep, I'm ready.
All right, this is all you, bro.
Cool. So this next one comes to you from New Atlas, and actually it's going back to our eVTOL air mobility kind of talks, and it actually says Suzuki is joining a company called SkyDrive in Japan to push to build an eVTOL flying car by 2025. So basically, Suzuki, which you guys know, Suzuki makes a bunch of stuff, not just street-going cars, but we're talking off-board engines. They do a bunch of stuff, of course. They have partnered with a company called SkyDrive. SkyDrive, if you're not familiar with them, they've been around since 2018. They do basically a lot of things with like drones already. They already have some cargo drones flying on some work sites in Japan. They mentioned that a lot of them flying about 30 kilograms, so they're already doing some cargo stuff over there. And they are, SkyDrive was already kind of working on a project to do a eVTOL, electric eVTOL. And now they've been partnered with Suzuki. And basically what they're saying, and this press release is linked down there as well, it's not exactly clear which vehicle they are specifically saying they're going to partner with, but we think it's probably the SDXX. And if we go by that, I'll just read the quick specs of that. That would be a tandem 2-seat 8-prop coaxial design, which Mike's probably going to put up on the screen here in a minute. And the quick specs that we would see from that would be max takeoff 1,100 pounds, max altitude of 1,640 feet. I guess that's MSL.
I guess we don't know yet.
No, I'm sorry. This is Japan. It's probably AGL. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maximum speed 62 miles per hour. It's not a V&E. I'm not giving any of those because it doesn't say that. It just says maximum speed. So I'll go with just whatever they're saying. And then they're saying a maximum flight time like 20 to 30 minutes. And it's funny because Mike and I were talking about. We went through this. I was like, okay, this doesn't actually sound like air mobility, air taxi stuff. And then I read the rest of the article, and right at the bottom, they're talking that they even say right at the bottom of the New Atlas article that it says, man, it seems like they probably would just be looking at like more of a like buy and fly. It doesn't really look like a good fit for air mobility because it just how it's designed. It looks a bit like it be a bit heavy. It's even actually got 3 wheels, like a tricycle, like actual wheels. So it's meant that it can actually drive on the road or a surface and then take off. Of course, it's going to add a bunch of weight, and then it has to be able to be road going. I mean, there's just, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, what do you think, Mike? It's interesting, but not air taxi.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They've got their products listed up here, and I've got them on. And they're all kind of like Jetsons, right? They're all kind of like the Jetson, whatever it is, right? Which is the sole pilot kind of all-terrain air flying vehicle, not very high. Has the ability to give you some thrills. And
it reminds me of the other one we just saw recently.
Was it the Jetson? Yeah.
Yes.
So anyhow, and on their main page right here, they got this thing that's under wraps. It says for 2025 that you can see it little thing under there, apps, which could be the one that they're. However, here's the deal, right? It's I'm confused because when you and I were talking before the show, I was like, sounds like they're building an air bike, right? And then you're like, but it has wheels.
Yeah.
I'm like, so wait a second. A commuter air bike? Like, because hear me out. Because you have to be able to only drive 12 to 18 miles, right? Drive 12 to 18 miles. So maybe you got to drive 2 miles to a place where you could take off. Okay.
And you would assume wherever you go, you can charge.
And then you've got a 20 minute to 30-minute flight time at about 62 miles an hour, which gives you a range of roughly 30 miles. Okay. We'll say 20 to be safe in limitation, right? And then you could sit back, recharge, and you'll go about your business. Right. So you're looking at roughly a range of about 25 miles total where this thing can do what it needs to do to avoid traffic. I could kind of see it as the billionaire's kind of Lamborghini avoid traffic tool that wants to fly himself around and do his own thing, or a complete and total waste of time. Right. That's kind of I don't see it either.
Or a waste.
It's like it's gonna do either one thing really well, or it's gonna be complete garbage, like hot garbage. And I was just thinking that just now, and when I was your thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it kind of goes into again, when we talk about these that don't fit like a cookie cutter
Sure.
use, I always mention what's the use case, and just you kind of hit the nail on the head. What I was going to say was, who's going to be buying this, and what are they
Sure,
going to
yeah.
use it for? Are they, because with that limited amount of range, and it's not that fast, so we're not talking like, I wouldn't think police or not EMS. You can't carry. You couldn't. It's tandem. You're not carrying anything
Sure.
else on board. It's a two-person
Right.
vehicle. It just sounds like a pleasure craft in a way, which there's going to be people who buy those, like for sure. And maybe Suzuki's using this as a way to prove they want to get into this space, and maybe they have other things up their sleeve that we don't know about. Because Suzuki, of course, can have the manufacturing end, and maybe brings the SkyDrivers, bring in the knowledge that they've already been doing stuff with drones and aerial vehicles. And that together they have, this is like the thing we know of, but again, they may be planning something else later. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this vehicle in itself, I'm not sure how many of these they're going to want to make.
It's like a 3-wheeled vehicle, right?
I mean,
it's like it sounds so like middle of the road on everything. It's not going to be a great like eVTOL air taxi move, because it doesn't have the capability to move forward people. It's not going to be great on range. It certainly doesn't sound like it's going to have altitude and survivability and getting over obstacles. It sounds like if you live in LA, New York, maybe Tokyo, or places where there's lots of traffic and you've got some money in your pocket to burn. And you know that there's a place that you could reach with this thing, and you live within 25 miles of your destination, and there's a charging station there. Bingo, this is going to be for you. I got like 8 guys on a list that can afford that bullshit.
Talking like all the people that have mega yachts that they still own. What might I add? The people with mega yachts they still own.
And then here's the other thing. And then they have to become proficient, quote unquote, pilots, right? So
they did say that, and is that meant to think that? I saw that. I was like, okay, well,
they're gonna have to fly it. That means they're gonna have to some sort of
certification
process, right?
Yeah, but what I don't see in here is any talk of really automation.
No, I didn't see that either. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
And look, well,
I don't know.
So now here's a couple of things, right? So going to be direct them under. So they say here it's going to be direct to pilots under the less onerous buy and fly. They're not really going into this whole big thing where they're going to go into commercialization, which is great because it changes their commercial certification process. These things could all be experimental.
Exactly.
Which would their cost would be cut drastically and give them an opportunity to make it into that little, I don't know, niche market for eVTOLs, right? But again, so small, so targeted. I think this is just going to be like that's really neat, and you're going to see maybe a handful of them, and they might just.
Yeah, and it might, like I said, I think there must be a second project or the desire to proof of concept the tech for future projects. It just must be.
Well, we'll see. Who knows? Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know.
What do you mean?
But yeah.
Cool. No, I got nothing else. So, cool. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. We couple of varied topics tonight. Let us know in the comments below what you think about if you find something interesting in this episode. We're excited to bring it to you. We'll bring you more stuff next week. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it should be fun. Thanks again for tuning in, and catch you next time.
Yeah. Have a great evening, everybody. It's been fun. Take it easy.
See you later, guys. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We should start like blowing kisses or something. Like, like the old dating game show. Funny.
Oh, yeah. Just all at once.
Yep. Good night.
our little outro thing.
All right, folks. It's been a pleasure. We'll catch you later. Have a good night. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.